So guys and girls, I just wanted to say that I do apologize before you watch this video. I've been using this Rode wireless Go 2 and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But the only thing is, when you're using it in the breeze, I put this muffler on to keep out the wind. I thought, do the logical thing. And you see how sweaty and hot I've been under my suit. So I had this on the outside of my suit when I was making this forthcoming video that you're going to see right now. But the bees absolutely hate this, and they think this is like an animal trying to trash their hive. So before you all go, oh, there was the sound of bees, because that's what they do when they're attacking an animal. They're like, they think it's the fur and they're trying to get into here, and often you can hear in the video this noise, and that is what it is. So don't worry, the next time I wear my microphone inside my suit so the bees won't be able to get at it, or I'll just take this off, because the great thing is you can just take this off and there's your microphone underneath. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Speak to you again soon. Bye for now. So we are reasonably early in the morning, and yesterday I made up a load of nukes. You can probably just see at the back there. That was the first 15. So they're done. There's no queens in them yet. The queens are still in the bank, but I'm going to come back this afternoon or this evening and put the queens in. If not tomorrow, I'll do the whole lot at once. This is the next lot I've just made up. So it's going to be busy. We're off to the apiary now. I'm going to go through what I do. I'm trying where I can to make 2 splits from one colony as opposed to 1, and my criteria for that is if the colony is really strong and there's loads of bees in the supers above that are going to go down after, because they're going to be less bees in the bottom. You kind of see where I'm coming from. So I'm just using the resources wisely. It's so important. So it's going to be really hot today. I think I've got everything I need. I wear shorts under my bee suit. My bee suit's been washed. It feels nice, and it may sound stupid that it feels nice, but when you get a really stiff, horrible bee suit that's full of dried honey, it actually is not very pleasant being in when you get really hot, because you sweat so much. And the thing is, you've got to take plenty of water with. That's so important. You can drink through your veil if you can't take your gloves off. Just keep drinking. But that's kind of how I organize myself. I've got my nukes done early in the morning when it's not too hot. You can still sweat, and I wore this short bee suit just because there's a few bees in those nukes over there that were kind of a little bit kind of pissy because they've just been let out and they just kind of find their way around. But when I get a feeder on them later as well, that will settle them down. And they are going to be there really just for a couple of weeks till I introduce the queens, and they're going to go off to new apiaries, because I've got apiaries I overwinter my nukes at that are pretty free of rodents. So as I showed you the other day, the ones that got damaged, they were just spread out over all my apiaries that are in the middle of nowhere. Whereas the one where I keep a lot of nukes, and that's the thing to do, overwinter your nukes in one area or 2 or 3 areas that you can get them right off the ground, and that you know they're reasonably safe from, like, they're not in a woodland or something, because when they're in a woodland, predators can easily get at them, and that's the thing. So these are the nukes that are going to be overwintering, obviously, but the great thing is, I just wanted to say, and I've just nearly forgot what I'm going to say. See, we're still a long way off the winter time, and everyone's saying, oh, the season's not over. For us, it virtually is. It's not over. There's loads to do, but the actual season of beekeeping as such and the colonies growing is done for the year. Now we're just capitalizing on that growth of the colonies, and we're going to be making those splits, rearranging the colony, rectifying problems, and using those resources with a mated queen this year. So I've got plenty of time, and if I can use some of my mini plus that I created the other day, I've got some more like that as well. If I can harvest some of those queens, say end of August, I might even make another couple of small splits, say 10 or 15, just to bring my numbers up even more. And that's where you really profit. But see, because it's only early, I can feed, I can give pollen sub, but on the terms of pollen sub, they don't need any at the moment, because all the colonies are full of chestnut pollen and bramble pollen. They are loaded, absolutely rammed with pollen. when I was looking yesterday, and it's really good that when I start doing my splits, you get a real feel of how the colonies are. And because I didn't do any spring splits, they are full of resources. So I'm pretty pleased. You know, even though I didn't take many splits this spring, the knock-on effect is I didn't have any colonies that ran out of feed in the late spring after I'd harvested the honey, and now what I'm seeing is loads of honey in the colonies going into the late summer. So that means that while the dearth is on, they won't starve, but they never do anyway then, because they've just had a massive flow. But as I go into the winter, I'm going to have to feed less because there's still that residual amount of honey in the colonies, and that is what makes the difference. That is what it's picking up on, little things like that you can capitalize on. So we're going to go off to the apiaries. I'm not sure exactly which one we're going to pick yet, but I've got an idea. I'm going to go to one that's in the shade because we're up to 28, 30 degrees today, and the next tomorrow, and then Monday, Tuesday are going to be even hotter, but I want to try and finish tomorrow if I can, because working in these temperatures is just a nightmare. But anyway, let's get on there, off to the apiary, and make some splits. So we're now on site at this beautiful location. Pretty man white in Brittany. So before we start, I've got my smoker lit, but I just wanted to go through a couple of things. You can see we're midday now, and there's some big colonies here with a little bit of honey on, a couple of supers, sometimes 3 supers. I don't think the top supers are very full, but at least there's quite a bit of honey on them. One of the things I wanted to point out was there's not that many bees flying, even though the colonies are pretty packed. And that's immediately a sign that you can tell that there's very little coming in. There'll be pollen coming in because there is other grass pollens around and there's other stuff in flower, but most of the stuff doesn't give any main pollen or nectar at this time. But the nectar is definitely shut down now. You can see we've got those white flowers over there, convolvulus, we've got wild carrot, stuff like that in the areas that are really damp, things like that. But overall, that's the end of it. The blackberry's just finishing now. But also, just to say, this apiary is clean. It's partially shaded. And you can see where the nukes are in my truck behind. It's very close. So I haven't got far to carry the nukes, and there's a bit of a light breeze, which is the major bonus for me today. So, we better get on and get some nukes done. So I am going to be wearing gloves through all of this because one, you can't really hang around when you're beekeeping, and as much as I'd love to take my time, when you're working quite a lot of bees and you've got unknown behaviour in some of the colonies, in other words, I don't know them all, I know they're all okay, I don't think there's anything terrible. What I mean is you sometimes come across one that's a bit livelier than the other. Just by wearing gloves, you speed up things. You don't want to kill any bees, but you do every now and again. A few get squashed here and there, and otherwise it's better to have them squashed into your glove than it is into the fingers, you know. So I do tend to wear quite big gloves. So let's have a look here. So I've got my nuke ready and open, okay? These are my nuke boxes I've already prepared. You saw me preparing them before. I've got a frame of honey on the left hand side there. I've got another frame and I've got a partition. So 3 frames will come into here from this colony. Now I'm only probably going to be able to get 1 from this colony because it looks like, well, there's quite a lot of bees in it. No, I'm going to just get 1, so there's only 1 super as well. It's rare if I get 2 from 1 colony, and I don't like pushing the colonies too much. But let's see if I can find the queen and we'll get her split. So there's a little bit of nectar gone, well, a little bit of nectar got into this. I don't know if you can see that in the light. There's some nectar there. Some nectar gone in recently, and it's chestnut, it stinks a bit, but it's hardly anything. But obviously I'm not going to leave this super out, there's no need to. And again, I'm putting my upturned roof on the floor, and that's what my supers will go on for now. So let's take this one off first. I only put this on just over 10 days ago, so I don't think it'll be very well glued down. And there's nothing in the one on the bottom as well. So that isn't a very good start. Why this colony hasn't given me honey, I don't know. We're probably going to find out shortly. Seems to be quite a few bees in it though, so I might be able to make a split from it. Let's see. So this is why I'm showing you this, because it's the classic what you actually find in the real world when you're beekeeping. So this colony is only on, looks like 9 frames just. So it's still a candidate for caging the queen, but that's just nectar, which isn't a bad thing providing there's brood in these, but I've got a feeling this hasn't got any brood. However, there's a lot of bees and it's well contained. So there's the pollen. So I imagine this is where the brood will be. If we can find a queen, I will cage her. If there's brood, no brood at all. So this immediately makes me think what's going on. Maybe this colony tried to change the queen and didn't. No queen at all in here. Just loads of bees and pollen. See that pollen there? And this is the reality of beekeeping. So I can't even take a split from this colony. It's going to cost me a queen. And I can't really split it into bits, because if I split it into bits, it's just a smaller colony, but I need to get this colony re-queened now. So I'll have to come here with a queen and put this on. And the supers I'll just take off because there's nothing in them. There is a lot of drones, you can see. So this colony's been without a queen for a little while now. And to be honest, what I'm going to do is the colony next door, I'm going to give this colony a frame of brood. Look at the amount of drones there. That colony has no wire in it. That's weird. Oh, that was because it's a... The reason why there's a lot of drones is this is actually marked here, this frame. We cut the bottom off and they remake it in drone comb. You can see the bottom's been remade in drone comb there. So what I need to do is give this colony a frame of... Let's move this one, take this one out. This can go into another colony when I take out the frame of bees and brood. Because what I want to do is I want to make sure that this colony does not become a drone layer. Because it very easily could do this time of year. It's still a nice lot of bees. I don't think there's a queen in it. I'm going to give it a frame of eggs, and if they start to make a queen, so great. If they don't, well, we know where we are. But I'm going to come back with a queen anyway, because I have queens, as you know, and I will stick a frame of bees and brood right in the middle of the brood nest there. So that colony is as good as nothing I can do with that now. So now I'm going to go on to this colony next door and hopefully make a split and hopefully rescue the colony adjacent. That unfortunately is a lot of the problems you find when you're sorting out bees, is you'll come to an apiary and you end up doing so many manipulations just to save the colony next door, but that is unfortunately the nature of the beast. So there's bees in this top super which I like, a lot of them. That makes me excited to know that this colony is strong. So this is much better than the one next door. And I'm going to take this feeder off after, and because I want to be able to harvest my honey in a few weeks. So there's a little bit of honey in that one, not a great deal, but there is some. So that's going to come off that feeder now and the proper cover will go on. So we've got some honey in this. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a little bit gone in there, so that's quite nice. At least that can get harvested. So again, I'm going to put this on the roof, upturned, break the seals, and the super underneath is nearly full, which is nice. You can see there some nice honey in that, all capped. So they're not all like that, like the one next door. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast. But we're going to get to the bottom now. The trouble is when you do this in summer, the joke is you lift everything off once and everything off again, and then everything off once and everything off again. It's just constant moving of boxes, and it's the skill of doing it the least amount of time that's the most important. So this colony looks good. I'm seeing a nice distribution of bees. It's all full. I know there's loads of bees in the super there. So look, that super's full of bees as well. That's what you want. And there's loads of bees here. So I can make a split from this, and it can still give me a frame of brood to go in the colony next door. Let's have a look, see what we can find here. Okay. So don't forget, I'm going to try and find the queen. I've got a cage here. I'm going to see what it's like. But I've also got a spare cage. So let's get the first frame out and see what we're up against. You find layers of where there's bees hatching, where the queen's been relaying. And this is where, looks like this, like a frame of mixed. We've got larvae, we've got everything we need in it. Yesterday I was in apiaries and I just struggled to find queens. Why? I don't know. So I'm not going to choose this frame of preference. I'm hoping to find a bigger frame with more emerging brood. But to be honest, this is the kind of frame that can go in the colony next door, because it's got emerging bees on and it's got larvae. So I'm going to actually, thinking about it, I'm going to put this colony straight in the one next door. You can see the nectar coming out of there. Look, when I shake that, it's pissing out, absolutely pissing out. So I'm going to put this frame back in here, and then we can close this up and this is done. The other reason is, when you leave supers out, it attracts robbers. I know there's no real honey in this, but there's enough to get the scent going and get everything else in the apiary. So the sooner you can close up a hive, the better. Okay, so that one is now done. Find the roof, the plastic for that one, and close this one back up, because that will get back to normal. That's got a frame of bees and brood. I will note this one with a pen, come back in a few days, and if it needs a queen, it will get it. But I'll probably give it a queen anyway, to be honest, because I've got them. And it's a good safe bet to requeen that, because it's a nice colony still. So this next frame looks nice. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for more. Nice bees and brood. If you can, when you take the frame out, look inside the colony, because that's when you might see the queen on the next frame. Always just kind of look in, is she on that one? Because if often you take a frame out and she'll go from frame to frame to frame. And this is what takes the time. I like to doubly check my frames to see if there's a queen on them. And there's no queen on that one. It's just worth spending a few minutes more checking each frame, because if you don't, you'll have to go back again and do it all again, and you might just never find her. So that one's going in the box. So I'm not going to select this frame because there's quite a lot of drone on that one, but I'm just going to check, see if I can see the queen. These aren't the nicest of bees, they're a little bit runny, but they're still okay. Okay, no queen on that. Let's put that in the middle there. Looking inside, just larvae on this frame. No queen on that. Okay, let's put this to one side. Just put that down there for now. Give a little bit more room in the colony. I just want to try and find the queen, and then we can take out what we need from the colony afterwards. Still a lot of drones in these colonies. Nice frame of brood on the next one. So I'm probably going to take that one out. Good, that's nice. Nice brood there, and pollen, which is what you want when you're starting a new colony. So, no sign of the queen. Lots of nice big fat drones. I'm surprised how many there is actually, so usually this time of year they're starting to decrease, but obviously we're doing something right because they're still making them, but no sign of the queen on this frame either. And I love making these nukes middle of the day, middle of the afternoon, because a lot of the drones are out flying, and also a lot of the worker bees are out. So where are you, Queenie? Have a look in there while I can on the back wall of the hive. Is she on here? It's unlikely she's here because this is where all the drones hang out in the two end sections. But this is the one, but my cage is good here, so I'm going to use this for my queen cage. There's the cage I had from last year. I haven't built into it, so I don't need to clean that out. I just need to find the queen and get her in it. Not all of my queens are marked, and often it's the ones where the queens aren't marked is where you have the problems finding a queen, as you might imagine. So now I've got to look in the top section of the hive, see if she's in here. A lot of drones. And this is when I hate it, when you can't find the queen, because then you start to think, did I put her in the box? This is a huge frame of provisions and drones. And you think, did I put that queen in the other nuke I made? I don't think I did. I checked the frame carefully. So no sign of her there. Okay, let's have a look at this last frame. Sometimes you can chase the queen to the back of the colony. They haven't built this one out yet, but that's fine. Can live with that. There's plenty of bees to make a split here, no problems at all. I'm actually going to shake these. There's a few drones here, but I'm going to shake these bees into the box as well before I choose one last frame to go in there, because obviously I said I'm taking three frames out with each split. So that's one shake. Remember, there is a lot of bees in the super. I don't think we're going to find this queen now. She's obviously on the wall, or she could be in front of the hive. It's worth just a quick look. Sometimes she is out the front on the floor or something, but if you don't see her, you're never going to find her. And it's a shame, and this really annoys me because I put all this time into finding this queen. I've got a cage in there that I can use, and now I can't find the blinking queen. So my time has been wasted. But that is what it is this time of year, and in fairness, you do get better weather, so the time isn't quite suppressing. And I generally get one apiary done in an afternoon because there just isn't time to do another one, and it's often too hot. And by the time you've done 15 splits, you're absolutely knackered anyway. So, yeah, these bees are getting nice and pissy. I really wish I could say we found the queen, but we haven't. This is probably going to turn into what happened yesterday. And let's rearrange this configuration. So I'm going to put this frame here that I would put the queen in if I could find her. I'm going to put that now further into the middle because I will come back. I'll mark this colony. I'll try and find her again after I've made the split. So I'm going to put this frame here, and if I can find the queen, she'll go into that cage at a later date. It's still nice and early. If I can get the trouble colonies sorted out and get a queen in within the first week of July, if I've done all my splits in, if I spend a week afterwards just coming back and sorting stuff out, I don't really mind, because what it means is then I know that everything's been caged, and caged well and long. So, okay. I'm going to take this frame because it's a mixed frame, it's got brood on it, it's got pollen, and that'll be my last frame now. Just looking for the queen just in case, because I don't want to put her in the box, because she will not kill the queen, but she'll put pressure on her, and the queen dies in the cage before you release her. Or when you release her, they battle it out, and your queen that you paid a lot of money for is dead in most cases. So this is a well provisioned frame, but that's my last frame gone into this nuke. So that nuke is made up, and I'm letting all the bees that can fly if they want to. If they want to go back to the main colony, they can, because what I want is mostly nurse bees in that colony, and it does make a big difference. So let's just finish this configuration. That frame is now going to the side, one space in, because that's where the partition is going to go. But this frame is very odd shaped, and I may struggle to get that frame back in with a partition next to it. But if it makes it too tight, it still has to go in, because there's a lot of resources on there. I don't really want to waste this frame. Oh, queens. Pain in the butt. Okay, so that can go in there, that spare frame, this frame of brood. She could be on here, who knows. I'm going to give this one a shake, because a lot of the bees on here will be nurse bees, because the other ones will have flown off over the last few minutes. So that nuke is now complete. You can see this nectar, look, it's absolutely pouring out. Okay, so we now have a frame to go in here. So that is now the winter configuration. Once I put these back in, that will be built up probably in the autumn or the following spring, and that's our foundation. In goes the partition. Just about fits. They might rearrange that themselves, and that in number 10. So I tend to call the frames 1 to 10 like that in colonies. Okay, so that's now is ready for the winter, apart from obviously me not finding the queen and caging the queen, but I know the queen cage is there when I come back next time, so I'll find her next time. In the meantime, I've done my nuke, and I'll mark this box that I couldn't find the queen, and when I give this a queen, I will make sure that I check it to see if she's not in there, and she will be on the frames if she's going to be in there, because if I look now and look again, I might find her, but it's mostly difficult, because often the queens, when you put them in a nuke, as you make the nuke, she'll end up at the bottom of the box somewhere just walking around, and you haven't got time to do that. I'd rather know that I just come back and check this one again, find it's queenless, and just give this a new queen, because it's just what you have to do. So we're going to put everything back on, even though we know there's no real nectar, and I don't think the queen's going to lay much in the supers if she had the chance. I'm still going to leave the excluders on. That is a lovely super of honey, and there's a tiny bit in the top, but they may burn that off. So what? If they do, they do, and they can use that before I harvest. Don't forget, I'm not going to be able to harvest the honey for about a month yet, and it's not that I'm going to be vaping. It's just that it might not be ready. I can't harvest the honey until I know that the top bit's either been used or is not dripping anymore, and there's no more coming in. So there might be a tiny bit, and that's enough just to scupper your plans. So I'm going to get rid of that. That was the cover for now, but because I'm going to be harvesting the honey, I also want these all off so I can just whip them off quickly when I harvest the honey, because I'm going to put clearer boards between the super and the top of the box to get rid of the bees. That's what I do in the summer. So a bit disappointing there. Leave those bees come out the inside. Pop this on for now. Now we're on to the next one. Let's see if we can find anything better here. Just have to keep going. So now we know that those two boxes are right on them, that we made one nuke from the one with the camera, where we made one nuke from this one, and there it is, and that one has a queen somewhere in there, but we couldn't find her. And so we've given that a frame of eggs and bees, or eggs and brood. So pretty disappointing after I added this last super, because the bees haven't really put anything in it in the last week. And like there's a flow running today, but it isn't much, as you saw. It's just like dripping out the frames, and it looks kind of a lot, but it's not. So let's take these 3 supers off. Loads of bees in it though. You can see when I came last time, there was a lot of bees in here and a lot of honey. So this top one's full, which is great, you know. But this is on 10, so there's not so much in each one, but I'll show you one if I can get it out without making too much mess. We're going to take it off anyway, so just yank this out so you can see it. And have a look. There's some decent honey there. That's the middle of the brood nest. So often they don't cap it there and they leave this clear to put pollen in and all the other shit that they do. But it's still honey. So let's take this one off. I haven't been to the gym this morning because we went yesterday morning, and I'll be going again tomorrow morning. But I'll get my workout this afternoon, I think, anyway. So the next frame is beautiful as well, and there's loads of bees in that. Oh, that's a heavy one. And this isn't too bad either. So let's have a look at this. These are nice bees. Here we go. It's not bad. It's not perfect full, but it's pretty good. You know, it's not bad. There's a good ½ kilo honey in that one. A couple of pounds of honey in it. You know, you got to look at it as a whole, and overall there is honey in most of the hives, most of the supers. So there will be a harvest. It's nothing like the spring harvest, but it's still a harvest. And that is beekeeping. You know, you've got to accept exactly what it is at the time and then move on. Otherwise you'll be forever going, what if, what if? I think we've said that so many times. Let me just show you. I've just got these. Look how nice they are to stack up there. Look, easy to manage. And we're straight into the brood nest now. No grass stuck to anything. I don't know if I should maybe put this side for you guys. You can see a bit better there. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so maybe we'll have a bit better luck finding the queen this time. First I want to check see if I've got a cage for the queen, and I haven't, but what I can see straight away is a lovely brood here. This looks like a lovely colony. So I need to have a box, and where's my box? My brood box, my nuke box is out ready. There it is. So it's starting about number 3, number 2. It's a lot of work, but see, that's what people say to me. Oh, it's such a lot of work caging the queens. It isn't, because I'd be making a split this time of year anyway. So you've got to find the queen, you know, when you're making a split. So there's no big deal. So what have we got here? We've got a couple of queen cells, but there's eggs there. Starting a queen cell, but no, there's nothing in that. I just think that's something they built out. Pink-eyed drones. Any varroa? None at all. Oh, that looks good. No varroa on that drone, and that's an indication of things. So, pretty good. So I'm happy with that. I'm not going to decap any more on purpose, but so that's a nice frame. Lots of eggs in there. We've got a lovely prolific queen in here. They're laying away, but I'm just going to put this frame down, make us some room. Pop that in there for now, in the feeder tray. So here we go. See if we can find the queen this time. There she is. One of this year's queens, a white dot queen. So we're going to get her in the... Whenever I catch a queen, I always try and do it over the brood nest. Okay, because you want to make sure that, first of all, if she falls off the frame while you're messing around, she doesn't go anywhere other than back where she should be. Okay, you've lost her, but you can probably find her again in the brood nest. Okay, so I'm going to move this queen off a bit because she's in a hat there. I wanted to just go in the middle of the frame. So I've got my queen catcher. I'm going to put it over the top. I'll try and show you here. Look, I don't really want to show you here, but I'll try. That goes on there, okay? That's covered her now. Okay, so now I just bring the arm back and she's in there now. That's how quick it is. And look, I've got thick gloves on. So I keep her out the sun for a moment. Let's find a shaded place. I put it behind here, look, out the sun, on the ground. It's no big deal. I'll just put it there because I just want it to be out the way. So I can quickly look at that pollen. This is what I'm trying to show you, how much pollen there's in the colonies. Absolutely loads. So I'm not going to take this frame, but there's a nice lot of bees on it. Well, I will actually. I'll take this frame because it's some good stores, some good pollen. So that's the first frame. That can go straight in. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's find 2 other nice frames of brood. That's fairly reasonable as well. With stores and brood and bees, and this is what you get when you pay for nice queens, you know. Nice patterns. That's just a frame of eggs. You can feel instantly that this is mostly eggs because it's light when you pick it up. So we don't obviously want that one, and we know where the queen is now, so. Now that's a bit better. It's a lot of pollen, not much brood. Let's have a look at the next one. Oh, that's better. Good. You can see that one there. A lot of brood, some drones, a lot of brood both sides. So that will give a lot of bees hatching out. So I'm going to go and grab a frame out the truck, because in the truck I had a few frames that are drawn up for the queen that are ready to go. So here we go. You obviously can't see me, but I saved a few of these frames from dead outs, and this just speeds things up for me. So there we are, a frame that is ready to go. Undo the door on the cage. Let's get the queen. Let's put her in the cage here. There she is, looking great. Try and show you out the sun. So this just sits in here like that, okay? Queen's there waiting to come in. I'll just pull up the lever and it allows the queen to walk in. Takes a few minutes sometimes because there's a bit of a crush in there. You can see her going in there. She goes there right now. So she's gone in the cage. Just take that off. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. A caged queen with gloves on. No hassle at all. So she'll go in probably this spot here, right in the middle of the brood nest. The bees can get to her from both sides. They know where she is. She's amongst the bees and the hatching bees. The bees won't hassle her to lay. This is what I've worked out. The reason why this works well for me this time of year is because the long and the short of it is when there's that's a nice lot of bees. I'm going to shake this off and put it in the top of the box. Because when there's a dearth on, the bees aren't expecting the queen to be laying. So I take that as an advantage. And if they're not expecting the queen to be laying much, then capitalise on that. Cage your queens and go kind of say to the bees, yeah, get on with it. The queen isn't supposed to be doing much anyway, and I'm going to just cage her for a while, and then the bees just kind of, when you get back to it afterwards, everything is kind of great. So obviously I've put in an extra frame here, so I'm going to have to do without one of my partitions for a while. Sorry, one of my other outside frames, but I'll put this frame because this is nearly empty right at the outside here. There's a bit of drone brood on it, but the bees will find that, so that's going to work out fine. So I'm just going to use the 2 partitions in here, and my 3rd frame I'll put in which is that one now. There's a little bit of honey on it already, but... So this is the first queen caged after all that effort and work. But I had to find the queen anyway, that's my point. So there you go. The colony's back to normal. There's still a lot of loads of bees in that top box. This colony could have really given me 2 supers really, but there wasn't a terrific amount of brood in there. There was enough and some good brood, so I'd rather make one really good colony that's nice and calm, and then when that all hatches, that will give that new queen a real kickstart and those will be away. I may even be able to take a couple of splits from, say, I don't know, say I had a line of colonies, so they weren't strong enough to split at the end of the summer, the end of August, I could take one frame of brood from each colony and make a new colony like that and add a few queens to those. That's one way of doing it as well. So, I'm going to stop there. It just shows you what I'm doing. I want you to all realise that if you do have a period of dearth in your beekeeping calendar, and even if you don't, if you have a partial dearth, it's still a good enough time to use your bees and cage your queens and get that brood rate, because it makes a massive difference. You see, I'm not seeing any real varroa in my colonies. You saw that drone I uncovered there. I know that's only 1 or 2 drones and 1 colony, and it's no way of testing. I'll probably be doing some alcohol washes as well before I finish doing all these splits and stuff. But the pressure is on now to get all these splits done because I've got queens in the bank, as you know. But as soon as they're done, I'm going around oxalic acid, and before that the harvest has got to be taken off as well, so all these boxes will be gone. So it's good to reduce the amount of bees now, because it means they all go into the same box and then they're ready for the winter. So on that note, I better get cracking, lots to do. Take care, speak to you again soon. Bye for now.